What's up, everybody? How you doing? We're back. And Jason brought a friend.
I did bring a friend. I brought more than one friend. She wanted to say hi.
God, you brought two friends.
Yeah.
There it is. Found it. Hi.
She wanted to say hi.
Eric.
Hi.
I'm not feeling very uncomfortable, but I feel it's very welcoming and welcome.
Why would you be uncomfortable about
Thank
me?
you.
We're idiots.
Have fun.
All right.
Love you all. Have fun.
Bye.
So yeah, for everybody that doesn't know, that's my gorgeous wife. Every once in a while she jumps on the radio show, and
Listen to it.
it is what it is. But yeah, you know what? We're pretty fucking excited tonight. I reached out to my brother Eric here a few weeks ago. I'm not even going to do that. You're not going to do that to me.
I just did that to you.
But I refuse to do that. Eric, for everybody out in Facebook world and the millions of people that are listening to the show right now, can you at least just say your last name for us so that we get it?
That Jason can butcher it later?
Right?
Salaji.
Salaji, just exactly like it looks like.
Exactly like it looks like. Phonetically, SUH-LA, la, and then a hard G at the end. Salaji.
Salaji.
Simple.
Yeah. I mean, it's right there. If you
About
guys
as fucking
can't read
easy
it.
as it gets, isn't it?
Exactly.
Dude, I get one letter of the alphabet for name. I can't read that.
He can't pronounce it either.
Nope. Sure the hell
Just
can't.
call me E. That's fine.
But you know what? Jay and I met you a few years ago.
Oh, God.
And we were doing some Bigfoot things and met at some conventions. We had talked on, we had you on the show.
Yep.
You actually had Jay on the show on your show before. I wasn't able to make it, but
Yep.
we've actually created a brotherhood, if you will, over the last few years here. And you started a convention, a gathering. It's a fantastic event that you put on in Dowagak, Michigan, called Bigfoot and Brews.
Yep.
And you actually even paid for all the food and whatever we needed to get Bodine out there.
Yep.
A couple years ago. And you know what? I'm excited to announce here, ladies and gentlemen, that Bodine will be back this year for Bigfoot and Brews once again. And we're excited. I know Bodine's excited. He's been tearing Jay's house apart. Excited about coming again. But Eric, brother, it's fantastic to have you on. Thanks for making the time to come on to our show.
Oh, gladly.
I know that you also have a podcast yourself, and we're going to talk about that as well. But for our listening people and first time people that have actually met you, please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Uncomfortable Podcast and the convention that you got going on, brother.
All right. I am Eric Salaji. I am the host of Uncomfortable Podcast. And it is a podcast that was born out of a lifelong fascination with strange, unusual, paranormal, you name it. Anything that resides under the umbrella of high strangeness. I have episodes about it. I talk about it. And it's just something I've never been able to get away from. And a few years ago, three and a half years ago now, I decided, hell, why not throw my hat in the ring and try this podcast thing? And it got legs. It got legs pretty good. So we just keep rolling with it. I had a couple of interviews this week. I had one just shortly before I came on here with you guys, and we're just going gangbusters. It's a lot of fun. Get to talk to a lot of interesting people. But it's opened up some doors, and one of those doors is the event that I named Bigfoot and Brews. And Bigfoot and Brews is held in Dowagiac, Michigan. It's in smack dab in the middle of Southwest Michigan. And,
do that again, because I said Dowagiac, and
I know you butchered it, man. That was bad. Dowagiac.
Dowagiac. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Dowagiac, Dowagiac, Michigan. And there's a sleepy little community there that's called Sister Lakes. And I believe, I may be mistaken, but I believe within a 6-mile radius, there's 11 lakes. And one of those lakes' name is Dewey Lake. And back in 1964, there was a rash of sightings. I believe the first one was June 3rd of a very large 7 to 8 foot. Some reports said 9 feet, hair covered, sometimes matted and wet. One report, I believe, even said that it looked like it had some kind of lake vegetation caught up in its hair. But for all intents and purposes, it was a description of a Bigfoot. And this kind of took the nation by storm. It made it all the way across the country. It was on national news. There was a liquor distributor in the area that put up $1,000 bounty for it. And when news of that got out, that little town was inundated with cars and trucks, just loaded with people with butterfly nets, baseball bats, shotguns, just every crazy monster hunter out there descended on that little town. And the police ended up having to get involved, and they had to rescind the $1,000 bounty on this thing and get people out of the town because it had just been taken over by everybody. But that's why we hold it there. The entire community there embraces the whole Bigfoot thing. I mean, when you go through that town, you'll see people have had trees that they hire chainsaw artists to come in, and whether the tree got taken down in a storm or something, but there's these massive carved Bigfoots. There's silhouettes all over the place. They really embrace the whole topic of it, and it's been 50 plus years. So Sister Lakes Brewery is the name of the place, the venue that we have it at. It's been there since the inception. It's been there. This will be the 3rd year. And, like you said, the atmosphere there is fantastic. The food and the drink are amazing. What really sets Bigfoot and Brews apart from normal conferences, and I think you guys will agree, is that it's such a relaxed atmosphere. You've got people sitting at tables, whether they're there with their family or whether they're there with strangers. There's a mix of all kinds of. You got people that are from the brewery are delivering your food to your table while the speakers are speaking. How we manage to do that without it being interrupting of the speakers is kind of beyond me, but it really works. And you're not stuck in a stuffy conference room sitting shoulder to shoulder with 80 to 150 other people. You are in a very relaxed atmosphere. It's outdoor. It's under a permanent tent, like a big wedding tent, I guess, if you will. And you got fresh air, and you got vendors, and you got crazy ass people, bringing Bigfoot in there, and he's running around. And Bodine, I mean, Bodine was
Bodine.
He was out of hand. I mean, it's fun because, he's chasing kids around and he's photobombing and all that stuff. But then, you see him and he's chasing after skirts, and, it's like kind of
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Bodine has a mind of his own. But here's the thing with
Sometimes you wish he's got a mind.
right. Here's the thing with the event that you put on, Eric. It's for the most part it's outside. I mean, obviously you can go in and have a drink inside, but the brewery itself, there's a tent outside. Most of the speakers are outside. They've got lined up out back. There's a ton of different vendors selling different things, and it is more of a family atmosphere with drinks, obviously, and food and everything else. But the people that run that brewery too are such amazing people.
Outstanding, aren't they?
And they treated everybody from Bodine on down to just amazing. Your event was something that I'm glad that it's growing. I'm glad that it's continuing. I'm glad that this is now the third year, correct?
Yeah, third year
of this one, and I can see it lasting years and years and years. You do a fantastic job running it. You've partnered with great people, and like I said, I say it a million times. Surround yourself with good people, good things happen. You've done that with this event and with the vendors and with the brewery that you have there and the speakers that you bring in. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but you bring some top of the line Bigfoot and paranormal speakers in for these events too, that, it's not, without spending $200 at the door to get into this thing. It's absolutely amazing what you've been able to put together over the last couple of years, and us at LEP Productions applaud you for it and continue to back you 100% on anything that you're doing.
I appreciate that.
I'm really hoping I can make it out too this year. So
it is so. I hope you do too. It is so much fun. The first year was so, and I hate using this word because it sounds. But it was magical. It really was. It was, and my fear was that we kind of caught lightning in a bottle for that first time. Last year, again, it was great. This year, I've got some help. My girlfriend Stacy has been monumental in helping kind of keep me focused and helping pick up some of the things that. Last year, I got to admit, I was a little burned out, not only because of that event, but just life in general. The podcast, my regular job, it was a lot, and I put things off longer than I should have. She's kept me honest on this one, and we've got the tickets are out for sale right now. We're already moving. A third of the VIP dinner are already sold. And it's just such a, I guess when you say it's a family event, it truly is a family event. Yes, there's alcohol being served there. But in the 2 previous years, we haven't had anybody that's even remotely gotten close to being out of hand. It's, everybody's being responsible. The vendors are happy. They're doing well. The brewery is doing really well, with the sales of their food, and they've been very accommodating. It's not costing me an arm and a leg to have it there. A little bit of backstory. There was a group that tried to put on a Bigfoot conference there 4 years ago, and there were some agreements that were had between the brewery and this other group, and the group decided to just kind of shit on the agreements that they had made. They had made a bunch of t-shirts up when the brewery said they were going to make t-shirts, and they sold their stuff under the table, and that affected the brewery selling theirs. They did it in October, late October. It was cold. It was rainy. It was hard to sit out there. It really was, so when I contacted him, Joe Morin at the brewery, I said, listen, My goal is to do this and do it right. My goal is to make this a win-win for both the event and for you. So the way I've designed it, and maybe this is a little disingenuous on my part, but the way it's designed is we do not take an hour and a half lunch break, right? Where everybody leaves the conference and goes to McDonald's or goes to Taco Bell or whatever. The food is made available throughout the entire day. The speakers go on one right after another. So if you get up and you leave, you're going to miss something. That keeps people in the seats. That keeps people buying food, having the drinks, and we get to put in more entertainment throughout the day. We get to have more speakers throughout the day without having to take those long breaks. And it's just worked out fantastic. It really has. I mean, I'm not going to say that I reinvented the wheel by any stretch of the imagination, but when we've seen each other at Michigan Bigfoot Conference, and other places. When you put Bigfoot and Brews up against those, the atmosphere is completely different. It's a celebration versus being a stuffy.
It's more of a day to get together and have a good time rather than a convention style setting.
Yeah,
there isn't. You're going to be at the same spot. You're going to be doing the same thing. There's speakers coming and going. You have your vendors, but there isn't a big convention space to get lost in. Yeah. There isn't, and with the brewery serving the food the way they do, you constantly have. So if you want food, you just order it.
Yeah.
And it comes and you're right there. So you don't have to leave.
Right.
You're not forced to go and say, hey, like you said, for the next hour and a half, if you want to take lunch, if you want to do whatever, and we'll be back at 2:00. And this next speaker, it's this next speaker is now, this next speaker is now, this next speaker now. And if you want food, order the food and they'll bring it to you. And you want drinks, we'll bring it to you.
Yep.
You want that stuff, if you want. So the idea that you came up with, or the convention that you have it's a continuous motion. And when you have a continuous motion, people enjoy that because there's always something happening. There's always something going on. And with the speaker lineup that you have and the entertainment that you have brought in, along with the vendors, along with the spot, it makes for a fantastic day.
Yeah, it is. It's just, there's a wave of emotion at the end of each one of them that hits me. And it's, it's a humbling thing that, I mean, the people show up because it's an event that I've fostered. I it was my idea. We brought it to fruition. So, it's humbling that so many people show up for it. It's humbling that I'm able to get the talent that I've had so far to come in and do their presentations in front of these people. The brewery itself, Sister Lakes, their motto is fostering community one pint at a time. And when I first went in there and talked to them about presenting this idea to them, I saw that up on the ceiling or on the wall behind the bar. And it really kind of struck me because that's my goal as well. Not necessarily one pint at a time, but it's fostering community, fostering, I want this event to feel like when you come back this year, you're coming back and you're seeing family, and that's what it felt like this second time. And I think that's what it's going to feel like.
No, absolutely. And we talked, you and I and Jay had talked prior to you putting this event on and your ideas about how you wanted to do it. And we told you we'd supported you then, and you put together a great event. So let's kind of talk about who you have coming to Bigfoot and Brews.
I was going to say, name the event again. Ro come in late. She's asked what the event is. It's Bigfoot and Brews. It's a wonderful event up in, I'm not even going to name the town. I'm out.
Dewajak, Michigan, in
Yeah,
Southwest
Dewajak.
Michigan.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to continue to say Dewagak, and I'm going to get kicked in the face.
I get that hillbilly accent. I can get away with it.
So who do you have? I know that you got one of our closest friends, Sachan Noir, coming in.
Well, you got a couple of close people to you because
we love her, and we love Christina Rake is going to be there too.
Yeah,
Man,
so
this is going to be a good one.
So a little bit different this year. This year we decided because the show has predominantly been kind of an uncomfortable best of, right? So the first year, Ron Moorhead was the head speaker. I had him on as a guest. I had Val Zavala, had him on as a guest. We had Josh Parsons, who had been a guest. Everybody that year had been a guest on the show. So I've always kind of likened it to like an uncomfortable best of for each year. Sure. And this past year, I had Stacy Brown Jr., and the lead speaker for the day was Robert Kreider. Fantastic presentations. I gave Kreider 3 hours to do his thing. We did a 2 hours, then we took a little bit of a break, and then he came back and he did his final hour. And I mean, it's a lot. But man, I'm telling you, he brought it. The stuff he had was just phenomenal. And so this year, last year we kind of were relegated to only a couple of speakers because of the length of time that I was given to Kreider. This year, we wanted to kind of change it up a little bit. And since I cover all of paranormal as well, I wanted to add in the paranormal element to it and introduce that to this. We're not at all getting away from Bigfoot, but we are adding some of the paranormal. So this year's main speaker is Amy Boo from Ohio. She's, I think, 2018's Bigfoot Researcher of the Year. She's got all kinds of accolades behind her. Part of the Olympic Project, she's co-founder of Project Zoo Book, her own project. Just a very well-recognized researcher in the field. Then I've got Scott Tompkins, who probably nobody recognizes that name, but he is the creator of an app that's called the Bigfoot Mapping Project. And it's an amazing tool. I've got it on my cell phone. My son's got it on his cell phone. I think it's $2, and you literally have everything that is within the BFRO reports. You have additional sightings that are not reported to the BFRO, and they're all placed on the map of the U.S. And if you select an area, like say you're going camping to the Huron-Manistee National Forest in Michigan, and you want to know if there's any Bigfoot sightings there, you can go into this app and it will tell you what year, what the weather conditions were, everything about the sighting. And so he's going to come. He's doing his first conference appearance with us this year. So that's really exciting. He's coming out of Texas. Then we have John Hickenbottom, who is Salt Fork State Park's naturalist for the DNR. And he has the distinction of being the only DNR representative for DNR anywhere in the United States that has done a legitimate series of videos on Bigfoot that are actually on the Ohio DNR website. So we've got him coming in. Then we've got Chatan Noir, like you said. She's going to be starting the day after I do my opening remarks and my thank yous and everything. She's going to do a good, respectful, honest treatment of the telling of the story, the events that happened in 1964 with the Dewey Lake Monster. So she's going to cover that in its entirety for about the first half hour, 40 minutes. And then we're going to get into Amy Boo. Then we're going to go into Scott Tompkins. Then John Hickenbottom, he's going to do his presentation. And then your buddy and mine, the Archbishop Christina Rake, is going to make her debut at Bigfoot and Brews. And she's going to be talking about her book, God and the Paranormal, and bringing a bunch of the paranormal stuff into it. So
That's a fantastic lineup.
I think
That's
it
a
is.
fantastic lineup.
I really think it's good.
Bodine will be dribbling all over that.
That's right.
God knows where he'll show up at, when, how, why.
You know, and the hopes is, you know, this year we're really kind of we're going after the vendors market. We really want to build that side of things. You know, we've had wonderful vendors there, and we just want to have more. You know, it's a matter of turning it into a maker's market for the most part. You know, not necessarily a craft show, but we want to almost simultaneously have two events going on at the same time. Right. You know, there may be people coming to the makers market that are not Bigfoot fanatics, and you know, they may just want to do the shopping around. They may be walking around hearing things over the speakers, wondering what the hell's going on, and decide to come in. You know, so we can accommodate that as well. So we're really looking to grow the vendor side of it. I think the event it kind of takes care of itself in a sense, because of the atmosphere, because of the I don't want to say it's a party atmosphere, but it's more of a celebration atmosphere, to be honest.
It's a gathering. It's a gathering of like-minded people that are there to do the same thing, and it's put together very well. And I you know, I can tell you, LEP Productions, along with our production manager Joe Kudo and Kudos Customs Creations, we're going to be there. We're going to have a ton of Bigfoot stuff, paranormal stuff to put on the table to get out there. But you always have a fantastic array of vendors as well. And if you, so are you still taking vendors inquiries, or are you still accepting?
Yes, absolutely.
Vendors? So
absolutely.
How can anybody listening now, how can they get involved? How, if they want to be a vendor, if they want to get tickets, I mean, where can we go to do that?
Okay, so if you want to be a vendor, I'd suggest sending me an email, and that's at contact.uncomfortable@gmail.com. contact.uncomfortable@gmail.com is the email address. If you go to Eventbrite and search Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2, that is the name of this year's event. So it's graduated from Bigfoot and Brews. It's now Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2. There is a Facebook event page. You can get to that by just putting in Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2, or you can go to the Uncomfortable Facebook page. There's a link to that event page there as well. And on the Eventbrite site, you will get a notification when you click on it, and it'll say get tickets. Well, if you go to that, there's a number of different tickets. You have general admission for the day of the event, and there's no assigned seatings. There's general admission is general admission. And then there's also where you can purchase the vendor's booth, and that's $60 for a 10x10 spot. You bring your canopy, you bring your table, you bring your wares, and we give you the space to put it in. That's $60. And then we're having a VIP dinner the night before, and that VIP dinner is going to allow you 2 hours with all 5 of the speakers and yours truly, myself, for conversation. And you know, there's been some talk with the Archbishop that we may air during that 2 hour period. We may air the documentary that she is in. Oh, now I feel like an asshole. The Uninvited, I believe it's called. So we may be airing that during the VIP dinner.
Gotcha.
The VIP dinner, the cost of the ticket includes any menu item entree. So anything that's on the food menu at the brewery, plus it includes one drink, whether that's iced tea or whether that's an alcoholic drink, that's included in it. Anything beyond that, that's on you. But we did it last year for the first time, and it was a lot of fun. Stacy Brown aired some unreleased film that came out later afterwards, so we got to sit there and watch a mostly edited version of that. So that was kind of neat to see that in that early stage before it was completely produced. It's just and the event, the VIP dinner is very much an extension of the way the rest of the conference is held. It was laid back. It was fun. Everybody was laughing, having a good time, good conversations. And so, yeah, Eventbrite, just look up Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2, or you can go to the Uncomfortable Podcast Facebook page. If you're going there, make sure you follow it. But there's a link there to what you just had up on the screen, the event page.
And I know that we're all going to be sharing that from now until September. So make sure you guys get your tickets. Come on out and see us. Come on and see all the speakers. And the food and the drinks at this place. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. How many are you limiting your VIP tickets?
VIP tickets are limited to 30. And like 30. I said, we've sold about 10 of them already. So
okay, so 20 left, guys.
It's a popular thing. I've been to other conferences, and there's just nothing the same about this conference that there is with normal Bigfoot conferences. It's just a completely unique experience all the way around. And I mean, when I say that, I feel like I'm patting myself on the back, and I'm really not trying to do that. It just is truly turned into a very unique beast. And I, honestly, I think it's the premier Bigfoot conference in the state of Michigan and Northern Indiana.
Well,
I think people will realize that once they come. So
we've been a part of a lot of great Bigfoot conferences, and I can tell you that LEP Productions and Bodine are excited to come back again. We have not usually been back to other ones. We are coming back to yours. I'm not saying we're not going back to any other ones, but we are definitely coming back to yours. We support you 100%. We support Bigfoot and Brews. We support everything that you're doing. We had nothing but fun for the first one, and we can't. We'd have loved to have been at the second one. Scheduling didn't permit.
Right.
Scheduling has actually worked out in our favor this time around, and we are looking forward to Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits for the third one. So
it's a great time of year. It's September 14th. We're a week later in the year than we have the first two. The first year, if you remember, Bodine was just sweating bullets because it was so damn hot. Last year was not quite as warm, but it was still warm. September 14th in southwestern Michigan is still a very comfortable t-shirt and shorts or light jeans weather. I mean, there's nothing to worry about as far as bad weather moving in or anything. It's a perfect time of year.
So it's not like Wisconsin.
Correct.
Where it was snowing today.
Correct.
Right.
It snowed today, and I was mowing my grass yesterday.
Hey.
So,
Ohio, man.
So guys, Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits, September 14th in
Dowagiac, Michigan.
Yes, Michigan.
Can you spell it out and put it up on the screen? I'll spell it for you.
I can say Dowagiac. That sounds hillbilly.
That's right. Dowagiac.
It's in Dowagiac. You got to get that I in there. It's in Dowagiac.
See, and that's why I would say Dowagiac, but I am not doing it any justice. So, Eric, the last couple of minutes I want to do with the show is I want to talk about your podcast because you didn't start it out as that. Again, you and I and Jay have talked at lengths about you coming up with the Uncomfortable podcast. You always enjoyed that kind of thing. You always enjoyed the podcast. You always enjoyed listening and whatever, and you wanted to throw your hat in the ring because you had something to offer. And you started it as just something fun to do. And then your son, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your son also does a little bit with you, but
once in a while.
You started it as just something fun to do, and it snowballed into something that you weren't really
expecting or ready for.
At the beginning you weren't ready for it, and we've talked about it, and that's nothing to be ashamed about, but you didn't think that it was going to take the lane that it did.
Right.
And I kind of want to just touch on that, man, because it's a special kind of thing, because these guys have been doing podcasts longer than I have. I'm riding their coattails. I don't have any problem admitting that these guys were doing podcasts and FM radio and all that shit longer than I've ever been doing it. But to me, listening to you talk, and again with Jay and I and even Joe, when we were all together at the Michigan conference together, you just talking about it and being so humble about your podcast and why you started it and what you're doing. So I want to touch just a little bit about why you started it and what you're doing with it and where people can listen to you, man.
Okay. Well, it basically started not being an Uncomfortable podcast. It started off during the pandemic, and a buddy of mine that I coached high school football with would double as a internet sports broadcaster for our local high school. And I went over to his house one day during the pandemic. I think it was in late May or June of when all that was going on. And I went over to his house, and we were having a couple of beers. And I'm like, man, you ever think about doing a podcast? And he's like, so he went in the house and he grabbed his equipment. It was old Behringer mixing board, and we had the Mickey Mouse head earmuffs that had the microphone that came down in front of your mouth. And we just threw together this thing, and it ended up being Beyond Sports with Big E and Bob. And we did that for a while, and we got a nice little local following. I mean, it was pretty much centrally located around the people that we knew from the high school, and athletes and our involvement with the school sports. And we just focused on local businesses, and just talk to the mayor and stuff like that. And I really pushed him to my co-host. I really pushed him because I wanted to do a Bigfoot show. And I ended up getting a couple of guys that ended up turning into a couple of real pieces of shit. But the conversation was good, and we got a lot of listens to it. And then he kind of started, I wouldn't say he was flaking on me, but he was a very busy guy. He had his hands in a bunch of different pots. So there were times where he wasn't able to make it, and we couldn't do an episode for the week. So I was like, I'm going to do one with the MUFON director for the state of Michigan, Bill Konkoleski. And I did that show, but I did it alone. And again, we got good ratings. And I was like, man, there's so much of this stuff to talk about, in the realms of the high strangeness and the paranormal stuff. And I really just wanted to start focusing on that. And he was getting busier and busier. So there were more weeks that were going by that we couldn't do a show together. And I just told him, I said, hey, listen, I'm going to try to do this thing, just focus on paranormal stuff. I'm still open to doing the one we do, but I want to really try this out. And I don't know, I probably got like 5 or 6 episodes recorded before I decided to release it. And I kept telling myself, nope, you got to wait till you have 10. At least that way you got 10 weeks to worry about where the next episode's going to come from, where you're going to get the next interview. And after I think 6 episodes, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I released it. And, that first month I got like 34 listens, and I swear 15 of them were me going back and listening to that episode again. And it wasn't a ego thing. It was me trying to like look at it from the perspective of a listener. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Am I saying too much? Am I, are there too many dramatic pauses? I was really trying to critique myself, and, it just kept going. And then all of a sudden I get this, my 5th episode was with a witch, and,
My wife? Oh.
no, it was not your wife. And don't tell her I said that. It was not her.
You said witch. Oh, my bad.
Witch, yes, witch. W.
I'm digging that grave tonight, aren't I?
And the episode came out, and by that time I was starting to get some listens, and I was probably in the neighborhood of maybe 100, 150 a month, and I was like, this is from scratch. I mean, this was completely organic. Nobody knew me. I didn't have years of being on FM radio behind me. I didn't have any audience to begin with. I might have had a few people that came over from Bigfoot or from Beyond Sports just because I knew them. And then I got picked up by the Confessionals podcast, because they had gotten wind of my episode about the witch. And so Tony Merkel had me on the show to basically retell the story of the events that happened with the witch in episode 5. And, honestly, 3 hours of the weirdest time of my life was spent with that lady, and had a number of bizarre things happen during that time. And he was kind enough to put my show on and let me promote Uncomfortable. I got Bigfoot and Bruce on the brain here. I keep wanting to say that.
That's all right.
And I got out in front of his audience, and there was a tremendous spike. Really, a lot of people came over from his show, and then it's just kind of taken on a life of its own. I've got 35, 40,000 downloads a month, and
I get 3.
And then probably in the last 3-4 months, I've started using StreamYard to record my interviews. So now I'm releasing, and it's not, I'm not taking the easy way out. I'm actually going in and doing production value stuff to the videos before I upload them to YouTube. So there's that channel. So I've got, I think, close to 600 subscribers on YouTube now, just in the past 3 or 4 months. So, that's starting to take off, and, 30,000, 40,000 a month in the audio downloads. So I really, it is I used the word earlier. It's a humbling thing, because, yes, I've been into this stuff for a long time. I mean, I was obsessed with UFOs when I was 5, and a few years after that, it was Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and the Bermuda Triangle. And then it just continued to, and I think, like the advent of shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and, the 40 other shows that you can look on Discovery Plus that are, ghost investigation shows. That really kind of, even though those things are produced and there's some element to them that is maybe a little disingenuous and is just geared towards getting people to come back every week or come back after the commercial, it really kind of solidified in me.
That
Good
goes
Lord.
Johnny.
That fucking witch has got you. Don't
Holy
let the witch
fuck.
take you.
Talk
I
about
want to
that.
exorcise the demons.
And Christina Ray showed up just in time.
Yeah,
That's right.
I
Christina Rakes here.
almost died.
Archbishop,
I almost died.
please
Christina, I need your help. Again. But, it just really kind of solidified for me that now I'm going to be all screwed up. that, you know, I enjoy talking about this stuff, and I enjoy delving into the psyche of people who have experienced these things. And because I've had the power of Sprite compels you.
See, we got Christina Rake watching. We also got Santiago Cirillo from The Walking Dead chiming in. So there's a lot of fucking there's a lot of things happening.
Got
right
all
now,
kinds of
Derek.
things. They're battling.
Yeah,
they're battling.
battling.
And I'm fucking dying.
Don't do that. We gotta have an event.
So, where was I at? The delving into the psyche of people who have these common experiences. And because I've had so many experiences myself through my life, I can carry on a conversation with them from the standpoint of somebody who has had experiences. I'm not just somebody who is sitting here with a list of questions to do an interview. I'm going to ask you this, you're going to answer it, and once I feel satisfied, I'm going to move on to the next question. I don't do that with any of my episodes. My questions come from the conversation. And I had one earlier today before I got on here with you guys, and I had a framework in my mind of where I thought it was going to go, completely out the window. The conversation dictated that we went in a different route. Wound up being a very good conversation, very interesting. But I think that's what people like about it, is it makes it a more organic thing than somebody just sitting there with a list of questions. So, I mean, basically, if you want to find my show, you can search any of the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, even though I think Google is getting ready to stop doing that. All you have to do is basically search Uncomfortable Eric. There are a number of uncomfortable shows out there. One's about finances, one's about LGBTQ lifestyle. There's several of them, but if you put in Uncomfortable Eric, that'll bring you up to my logo, which is it's a black and white logo. It's got a lowercase U and an uppercase N, and then underneath it says comfortable. Or you can find it on YouTube at Uncomfortable Podcast on YouTube as well.
I think I just shared that link in the chat too, so make sure if I shared it correctly, it should be able to click on it.
Probably did.
Yeah.
Throwing all that production stuff, they want me to do that shit, but you've met me. I'm not figuring that shit out.
But I've got 100 and I think 100. I think I recorded episode 160 tonight. So there's that. There's a couple of little bonus things in there. I've done a couple that are not interviews, but where I cover the story of the Dewey Lake Monster. I did a 45-50 minute thing where I added sound effects and stuff to that. So that, and I've done a couple other episodes that way, but predominantly it is a conversation based interview.
Hell yeah, and you're doing it, man. Like I said, we've talked about it before you were even doing some of the stuff, and your passion, your drive, and everything that you're doing is phenomenal. You guys check out Uncomfortable Eric or Uncomfortable Podcast, and hopefully you guys get your VIP tickets or get tickets in general to Bigfoot and Brews Spirits in D, Michigan, because I'm not going to.
You can't say it's D, Michigan like that. That means that's what, Detroit?
Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2. So it's Bigfoot, ampersand, Brews, and the word and Spirits 2.
There it is too. And we will continue to share this throughout the year. And as we get closer, brother, if you want to come back on, or we'd love to have you back on just to talk more about it.
I'd love to.
About a month beforehand, just so we can get that out there again. But brother, it's always
super excited about the lineup we got this year, man.
Oh, it's
excited.
Phenomenal. It'd be a good time. If
Yeah,
I'm allowed to go.
I'm definitely going to try to get out there. So
I hope you can make it because
you can stay in my room and come on in, brother.
Can we spoon?
Yep. Big
Okay.
spoon, little spoon.
All right.
Which one's which?
I want to be the big spoon this time.
Oh,
Now wait a
okay.
minute. Now wait a minute. Like, all right. So in that scenario, you got to go pole to hole, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You got to
yeah,
go pole to hole.
right.
That's an uncomfortable thing.
Well, then you should just have us on your podcast, and then we'll talk about it. No, our goal, Eric, is to have
I'll pass on that podcast.
Joe come out with us. Joe is our production manager. He's been with LEP now for years. When Jay and I came out, he wasn't able to come out for that one. Hopefully, we can get him out to this one, and he will come under the LEP umbrella. And
Well, we'll show you a good
well,
time. That's for
well,
sure.
hopefully, we
you
can
know,
get him out there.
If you're bunking with me, it's got to be hole to hole. No,
Okay,
can-
so it's not it's not pole to pole.
no, there's no pole to pole, and there's no pole to hole. It is hole to hole only. So if you get stuck in my room, understand that going in, it's hole to hole.
Unless you roll over uncomfortably, then all of a sudden it becomes pull the hole.
I got a feeling. I got a feeling Christina is.
I think I'm gonna have to take her.
I got a feeling
Well-
Christina's probably laughing her ass off right now.
She said we need Jesus.
She absolutely is laughing her ass off because now she is going to get the weekend with all of us, and she knows what comes.
Yeah.
When she gets the weekend
Christina,
with all of us.
Christina, if you're listening,
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure your room is right next to theirs.
Oh, she's
So-
listening. I can promise you. I can promise you she's listening.
I'm quiet and shy, so I'm good.
Yeah, like the last.
See, I get the
interview we had
impression-
with Christina.
I get the
Jay
impression
was quiet and shy.
I get the impression Jay's a farter.
He might be.
I bet.
Oh, I'm asleep.
I bet he's a farter.
She said, "Fuck no, thank you." Oh yeah, this is going to be a great convention.
Oh yeah.
I'm asleep and I don't give a shit. Don't like it? Get out of my room.
We love you, Archbishop. You know we
Absolutely
do.
love her to death.
Yes, we do.
You
Yes,
know
we
we
do.
do.
She
And I can't wait to give you a big hug.
she saved my ass this past September. That
She
is-
saved Jay's ass about a year ago.
She saved my ass big time.
We
So,
had her on our podcast. Well, we was doing one on Sunday night then, getting to know. And my son, there was a bag of cookies on the counter for like you pack for your lunch. And I thought it was Chips Ahoy. And
Hi,
me
Susan.
thinking that my wife spoiled my kid and brought, adult son cookies for his lunch, I devoured the whole damn bag. It was Trips Ahoy. And they
Not
were full of,
Chips Ahoy.
like way, way more than what I should have consumed with THC. And Jay was high as a kite. And I don't do that.
Now,
So
why,
when-
why,
so
why
when
were
we-
why were those in your house?
My son,
His son had Chips Ahoy, whatever,
Trips Ahoy.
cookies, and they were Trips Ahoy, not Chips Ahoy. So when we started the whole podcast, I'm talking to the Archbishop, and we're having a great time, and Jay's just being quiet, and then
mellow.
Jay would ask a couple of questions and be mellow. And it was like the whole hour, it was just like, oh my God, this was like a great fucking podcast. Like nobody,
Because
wasn't
Jay
any
kept his
fucking-
mouth shut.
like
Yeah.
really off the wall shit, no nothing. And then we ended it. What's up, Lee? And Jay was like, hey man,
I
gotta
didn't
tell
say
you-
nothing until that we all was together 2 weeks later up in Toledo for an event.
you told me
That's
you
right.
told me
That's right.
about it.
Man, I was high as a freaking.
I wonder if you get Jay high, if you can actually understand what he says. Like if he talks, but like, well, hello. But any other time,
And
he sounds like Boonhauer. You can hear the
real-
banjos.
oh yeah, it was real calm. That everything
Yeah.
was like, oh, and really? Okay.
I don't
Oh.
like it.
Oh,
Would you not like it, Sam? I am.
What about Bodine? Does Bodine partake in?
No.
no. Bodine doesn't do any of that shit. Bodine is so. Here's the thing with Bodine. So Bodine is starting to come out of his shell a little bit. So Bodine may be a
Really?
little, yeah. So Bodine may be a little bit more adult friendly, in this year.
We have taught him how to be respectful when children are around and to act certain ways, but he can be a little more free when there's no children around. He must maintain
Correct.
civility when
So
children
he's-
are around.
Yeah, so he's learning the ways of adulting, if you will.
I think if memory serves, the first time that I met Bodine, I was a vendor at a conference in West Branch, Michigan.
Yes, you were.
And you know, Bodine was around, and he was doing his thing, and there was a group of maybe 6 or 7 kids, you know, in the 5, 6, 7-year-old range, and
Yep.
I saw this Bigfoot in cut off overalls running for his life, and he had this pack of wild little hairless banana moles running after him.
Yep.
And then it just like a cartoon, a few seconds later, I see the kids running and Bodine's chasing after the kids.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then a wedding shows up to the same park that this is taking place in.
Absolutely.
And it's like a bunch of goth people who are getting married. Their dresses were like blood red and black tuxedos or something like that. And I look over and Bodine's like 200 yards away and he's getting in the freaking pictures with the people in the wedding party.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, Bodine
Guy's
has
a
this
madman.
way. Bodine has this way of scooting in on things. You know, here's the thing. We've had Bodine in little towns in Perrysburg, Ohio. We've had Bodine in Iowa. We've had Bodine up in West Branch, Michigan. We've had him all over we've had him on Paranormal Investigations.
Yeah.
We've had him all over the place. The thing about Bodine is Bodine loves to interact with the community because he was shunned for the longest time. He's
Well,
not
you got
your
the
average.
backstory on him today, right?
He's not your average Bigfoot. He's a little smaller, and he just wanted to fit in. So he starts wearing the bibbed overalls. He starts trying to do different things. And I'm telling you guys, if you've never met Bodine, come to Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits. You guys are going to have a great time with him. He's going to be making a couple other appearances throughout the year, but he will definitely be at Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits. Come and check him out. He's a lot of fun. He loves taking pictures. He hands out free shit all the time. Like he costs us money. He honestly does. He costs us a shitload of money.
where is it? Right there. I got a glass mug with his mug on it and his autograph on the back of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got my shelf back there.
I'm telling you, we got T-shirts, we got posters. You guys just come out and see him, have a good time. He loves taking pictures. He loves having a great time with everybody. So
Yeah, he's a fantastic addition to a conference. He adds a lot of humor and a lot of levity. So it's a lot of fun to have him around.
And again, we can't thank you enough for having him back. He's definitely excited, and we're definitely excited about bringing him back to Bigfoot Brews and Spirits. So
It'll be like getting the family back together again. You, me, Shitan, and Bodine, and Christina, and who knows what's going to happen.
exactly, who knows? Hopefully, we're going to be there Friday as well. So we'll see how travel time goes, but we'd love to be there Friday as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Looking
So-
forward to it.
Brother, we can't thank you enough. As soon as the event gets closer, we'll have you on again so we can talk about it again. But you guys, once again, tell everybody where they can listen to your podcast and where they can get tickets and things for your event.
Okay. Uncomfortable Podcast. It's on all the major podcast platforms. Any of the podcasters, just search Uncomfortable Eric, and it'll come up with the black and white logo, lowercase U, uppercase N, and the word comfortable underneath it. You can watch the video format on YouTube at Uncomfortable Podcast, that channel. Eventbrite, if you search Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2, that'll take you to the ticket site to get your tickets for Bigfoot and Brews and Spirits 2. Or you can go to the Uncomfortable Podcast Facebook page, and there is an event link in there. So it's not hard to find. Tickets are reasonable. It's a family friendly event. Children under 10 are free. I'm telling you, if you go to Bigfoot conferences, this one's going to blow it out of the water. So
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. Well, with that said, we need to call this a night. Joe, where can they find you at?
Right here Tuesday nights. And you run over to YouTube, Skeptical Edge TV. I'm going to be back out doing more videos here real shortly. And yeah, so hopefully you're going to get some more.
Justice Creations can find it where?
Yeah, you can go over to Facebook, Kudos Custom Creations. I got the hand poured candles that I do.
Mine's on the way.
Slate
You got one on the way?
coasters.
nice.
Son of
That
I
I
like
laser
those.
that I do with the laser engraver. Yeah. So
I need something for the studio back here to go on these shelves. So
done.
Yeah. Jason, where can they find about all your stuff?
Man, we can do LEP Productions. We can do, you guys know where to find us at. LEP Productions. We got custom boards. We got custom coasters, custom shirts, custom cups. Not doing anything right here, but we got LEP Productions.
Shipping it.
And you know what? Thank you, Eric, again, brother. We appreciate you coming on. Next
you, guys.
week, we will have James Balsamo from Hollywood, California, Acid Bath Productions. He's going to come on and talk about all the movies he's done and some of the movies that we've been in with him as well. So tune in again next Tuesday, stirring the pot, making Tuesdays funny again, guys. Hopefully you guys had a great night. Have a great week. Till next Tuesday.
Yep.
We'll see you guys.
Yep. Eric,
Nice
thank
getting
you
you out
again
here.
for being on.
thank you. I
Y'all-
appreciate you guys.
Y'all
Good
have a
seeing
good
y'all.
night. We're gone.
Good night.